Seigen. Yeah, what should you know about him to understand his games? Few things. He was Chinese by descent, living most of his life in Japan, actually, brought there by Seigo Kensaku. I think when he was in his teens still. And he has a very unique playing style, which you do not really see anywhere else nowadays. And there are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, these games were played with 10 to 13 hours thinking time each. Now today there's a sort of trend, because everything has to be online and has to be interesting, to go to shorter time limits, which is way more interesting for the people to watch. You're not, the time of the newspapers has passed, and you could make a game very big and spread it out over several weeks. Nowadays it's all almost real time and has to be fast. So thinking times are going down, so that's one of the reasons why you will not see his style much today anymore. Another reason is that in many of the games he played as white without komi. You say, well, how is that such a big difference? Well, for professionals it is. Imagine, I do not know the general strength of the people in the audience. I see a few down players. So how many down players are there? Maybe just raise your hands. About half, okay. So for say 1Q or showdown, imagine that you're playing another 1Q or 1 showdown, but then your opponent gets 3 stones. 3 stones handicap. Imagine playing that game. You're behind by a lot. That is something that Go Seigen must have felt without Komi playing another top professional. And that is quite a lot, actually. If you play all the usual moves, you will not make it. Your opponent will just defend everywhere, maybe lose a few points, taking no risks, but he will win easily. But if you're 10Q, 5 stones, 20Q, 9 stones, something like this, just to get a feeling. There is a very big barrier that you had to overcome. So what you see in most of his games is that he plays moves that are weird. They're new. Nobody tried them yet. Maybe they are even bad moves, but he needs to complicate, because it's the only way for him to make a game out of it. If he's playing slow, then he will probably lose. Now, of course, today everyone is playing games with Komi, so there's no need to play this 105 or 10% moves anymore. People don't do it. So that's the sort of a second reason for that nobody's copying his style. It's too difficult. It's too risky. There's no need for it. Third one is he was one of the only. I'm not sure he was the only, but one of the few Chinese players, if not the only one, in Japan at that time. And it's the political situation is around before World War II. A lot of tricky stuff going on, and Japan and China did not always have the best relationship then, as some of you may know. So it was actually quite tricky. There was a lot of pressure on him to perform, and he was afraid that if he didn't perform well in matches, that would be the end of his career. Of course, what he did was sort of the opposite. He would outclass so many of his opponents that people would start being a little bit angry about this Chinese guy who won everything. Which, that's the other side of the coin, so to speak. Together we have sort of a couple of reasons why Go Seigen's style is unique in a way and is hard to understand. The game I want to show is one of the easier ones, which still took me a couple tens of hours to analyze over the years. It's this easy. Takagawa Kaku is black. I think it was 9 down already at the time, or maybe 8 down. Very solid player, a bit slow maybe, and white was Go Seigen. This was one of the first games that they played with Komi, and Komi was 4.5 points. That's something quite new at that time, and maybe both players were a little bit, what to do. It's not too much, it's not too little, it will help for sure. So you have to keep that in mind during the game, and I think there were time limits around 10 hours each. Actually, this game was played as a part of a 3-game series against Takagawa Go Seigen. Go Seigen won all 3. I think this is the first one. So we'll start with the game now because the introduction has become a bit long maybe already. So Takagawa likes to open with a 4-4 move, very solid and easy play. Go Seigen, on the other hand, already likes 3-4 stones, and the reason is that these are more difficult. And this is a sort of patented Fuseki by Go Seigen. I do not see many players who copy it. And yeah, you may say, okay, this is a normal opening position, what's going on? Actually, already there's a lot of going on. There's some psychological warfare here. You see Black is very careful, playing easy moves, trying to make thickness, simplify the game because he's ahead by 3 stones in your mind. White, on the other hand, is trying to complicate the game. And one of the reasons why he uses this Mukai Kumoku formation is that it makes a black play on the edge not very interesting, because this stone is low on the edge. So, for example, if he would play something like this, then black may play some big boyo game or something that he likes, that he's good at. And then he would have a good move around both of the sides as an extension. So White is effectively trying to sort of take the initiative already by playing moves that sort of counter a black predetermined strategy. This is maybe a little bit vague because it's very early on, but this is something that you see throughout the games. There's a lot of ideas here, and you do not have to understand all the ideas. I just want to mention them to sort of show you what's going on. And I do not really want to talk, at least in the first time I review the game, about good or bad, because this is really, really tough. These guys had a lot of time, they are the top pros of the day. You have to do a lot of reading to actually understand what's going on already. If you want to validate this is good or this is bad, you're busy for hours for one variation. And there are, of course, several variations throughout the whole game. Yeah, so what should Black do? Any Moyo strategy is not so interesting, so the only thing he can do, logically speaking, is make some approach move. And of course he can, it's symmetric, you can approach from any side, you could choose different moves maybe to approach. He chose this one. Low Katari, okay, normal, not much to say about it. And actually the move that Go Seigen chose was a bit surprising for me. He just chose to make a corner enclosure, which in a way is sort of contrary to his earlier strategy of making the game difficult. He plays a very easy, quiet move. Maybe this has to do with the introduction of the Komi. It's one of the first games with Komi, so maybe he thinks, normally I'm going out 110%, I can relax a little bit against this Takagawa guy, I played the easy move just once. Or maybe it's some psychological warfare move that Takagawa actually expected, some pincer, which would be much more in keeping with Go Seigen's style, just make it difficult already. And that he had some plan that Go Seigen didn't like. If you always play this pincer, of course, to make things difficult, then people expect it and they can take countermeasures. So, Shimari, and Black chose to play an extension down the line, which maybe is a little bit old-fashioned for this times, probably a normal move. The reason I say it's a little bit old-fashioned is that White already is very solid here. There's not much to do on this side because the interesting side of the Shimari is on the bottom. So Black actually extends now towards the uninteresting side of the Shimari. I think if you, it's not to say that this move is really bad, but I think more modern approach would be to counter a little bit like this. Get an extension on this side. White would probably feel like playing some pincer here now, because Black didn't answer. Black can get another big point on the lower side, and Black is very fast, while White is predominantly busy on one side of the board. Okay, this is modern thinking. It's hard to say if this is really better than what was played, but it's an idea. Black extends down the line, and White has to do something to make a game of it, so he comes here. And the idea is that yeah, black would of course like to connect his stones to keep one group, but white uses this stone as a sacrifice to make shape on top. Okay, well for black there's not much to do. Basically the only move is to jump out here and cut these white stones. Also for white, not much to do. Extend down the sides, put some pressure on these black stones. And it's for black now to find a move. And in this game, black chose this pincer. So you see already black is sort of trying to develop the upper side. And yeah, if white pushes out here, then this stone is getting weaker. And actually there is, yeah, it's a little hard to find a different move here for black that would be logical to play. You do not want to push on the fourth line. White would just happily, okay, please give me the territory. You still need to come back there. So this is a logical move, and now maybe I would like to digress just a little bit by showing you sort of the standard Joseki of the time. Push here, black comes there, you extend or you exchange this once, Kazumi, and black reinforces here in some way. This is sort of the standard, and black gets a nice territory here. White gets a little bit strange looking group, maybe some territory there, maybe not, he's out. How useful is that? We don't know. So keep this in mind, and we'll look at what happened in the game. In the game White played this one. New move. Very nice. So yeah, what's the plan? Well, in the game Black answered here. Feels very normal. Indeed, and White jumps out. Of course, he would like to sort of connect these stones if possible, and put some pressure on these black stones. Black now uses a sort of small sacrifice strategy. He changes this once and pushes. And actually now it's not possible for White to block here, and Black will come here. And the outside is broken. Anyone for this is not clear? If you just push through, play Atari, push, and you cannot block because Black will play Atari and then either capture there or capture the stones there. So yeah, White cannot block there, so he comes out, defense. Black plays here, White plays this once, and Black plays here. And now we have actually a very similar position than we had earlier, but with a couple of very small changes. Like before it was like this, and this exchange has not been played. And now it's like this. And already we can, if you look at this game for the first time, you can already think about, okay, what exactly is different here? Very small changes. This exchange, for example. Who thinks this is good for Black? Anyone thinks it's good for White? I see some hands. Yeah? Yeah, it is a slightly good exchange for White indeed, and exactly how to validate this is difficult. But of course, Black, yeah, in this position, there's no reason for Black to play there. So it's a strange move, of course. And then you can argue, well, this is not the best answer White has. Of course, the best answer would hopefully be there, but then Black would have played an outright pass, and the game would already be over. But yeah, if you look at the end game, this would be the normal move. And somehow Black already played a stone there for this one, which is not a very useful exchange. So already you can see that White gained something here, of course, if you check it with the standard variation. And of course, if you want to do a proper analysis, you also have to look at this exchange. Yeah, so White gets 3 points here, which he didn't have previously. and he's out more solidly than before. Of course, there's a cost. Black is strengthened here, in a way. Let me not say too many words about this, because you can say strengthened, you can also say made heavy. Difficult to give a final verdict actually on these stones. And actually, if you have some more tools available, like a game engine with 50,000 games, you can maybe do a game search and find out that this move has only been played twice. Both times Black lost, and then Black tried every other move available in the local situation when this position came up, when White bumped into Black. So that gives you some idea that maybe this is not the best for Black. An idea, I do not say this is really bad for Black, because that depends on the rest of the position. There is some interaction between these stones and this Black corner, but it's an idea. So it's White's move now. White decides to immediately do something on the left side. Black comes out. White plays here, and Black just defends. So what did White do effectively? White built some thickness towards the center. At least he has some stones here. It's maybe too much to say thickness. There's some stones in the center that he somehow, he would like to use these at some point. Black got quite a lot of territory here. It's a very strong group. Actually, there's nothing White can do here. He can maybe rescue a few stones. Black will just connect. And White still has a lot of cutting points on the outside. So this Black group is really strong, and there are, sure, a couple of points. This move doesn't work. Black just plays there, and nothing happens. So Black is supposedly rather happy. He got a strong solid group on one side. White has a little bit strange thing in the middle. That is not really much territory. And what he's doing with this is also not totally clear. So probably both players were satisfied at this stage. Now White is to move. And White would of course like to sort of use these stones in a certain way. So it may surprise you to learn that White's next move was here. Why is this surprising? Because it basically allows Black to reinforce these stones with a pincer. So one of the things you may want to take a look at, and actually this is a little bit difficult, is some kind, why does White not play a pincer himself? And the reason, as far as I understand it, is these are actually quite hard to take. Black will prevent White from making an extension here. This is sort of the only move. Of course, if Black would want to rescue these stones, White would get a live group on this side, sort of in center, because Black needs to answer as well. This would be ideal for White, obviously. But Black is now running, and White is alive on both sides. So he has a target to attack without having any worries himself. So finding this move is rather easy. And then there are a lot of moves to check. White would of course like to capture these stones, but there is not really a very nice move of doing so. It's like you can surround it, but Black can come quite far at the bottom, and you will end up spending a lot of moves to capture two stones, while Black has still center, and you didn't gain that much. And you can also wonder why not there then, or any of these moves, and maybe of these moves, some of these moves are actually possible. Homework for you guys, if you're interested. You can analyze this for hours, at least I can. It's complicated. It's not really. It's hard to know when to stop. But this move, just by looking at the overall flow of the game, is sort of surprising. You want to attack these stones to sort of validate the moves you played here, and you're not. Okay, Black plays Pincer, and White chooses a very standard Joseki. I guess we all know this one, so I will not have to explain it. And yeah, maybe something that is a little strange is black plays there. As you may notice, hey, this is not normal. Normally black just connects. So yeah, what's going on here? Why does black play this strange move? There must be a reason. And yeah, this you need some knowledge for this one to understand. Actually, maybe I've shown some of you like this position, and we can forget about that part of the board. Would you say this is black's territory? I see a yes, I see a maybe, I see a definite no. It's not black's territory? Depends on the opponent. Well, the funny thing is white can live inside this group. Which looks a bit like, yeah, but there's too many black stones around. But if he really wants to, he can do something here. And let me just show you a couple of moves, and the move order can be changed. It's just an idea. And white starts from there. If black wants to, yeah, sort of keep his territory, this is the only move. If he plays on the outside, white just connects. If he plays here, then white jumps out, and this group is being attacked. Maybe good in some circumstances, but if black wants to keep it, he has to play there. Okay, then we come here, and black still wants to keep his territory, and we try something here. And black still wants to keep his territory. We play and there, and black wants to keep us in, and Atari, and there, and another Atari, and there. Well, we can even go out now. Maybe I messed up the order somehow. There is some variation where it ends up like this, and white can live. And black still needs to do something on the outside. Of course, the tricky part with this variation is that black can choose how to play. On every white move, black has 3 or 4 options. So I've never seen this variation in a game. It exists, but nobody ever plays it. Because black can choose the variation that is good for him. And if white wants to play this, he has to make sure that the other 200,000 variations are also good for him, which in practice is near impossible. But this shows, at least, that there is more aji here than you would readily expect. And especially because there is this strange hole here. And yeah, if white comes in there, it's actually not so easy for black to find a move. And again, I do not want to talk too much about the order. Maybe white would have to exchange this first. Yeah, you don't want white to connect for no reason, but if you don't do anything here, then white can come out either way quite easily. So it looks like territory, but actually it's just a big hole. So probably what black was thinking of when he played here is I do not want to add another move locally. So I reinforce in a different way. And then, okay, white can probably still do something, but we'll worry about that later. There's a reason for every move. Actually, normally this move would be slightly inferior because it just leaves this cut, and yeah, you have to deal with this in some way. You can either sacrifice these stones so you get some running fight. It's a little complicated, but at least this fight is easy. There's not much going on here. So black defends here, and white comes there. And you can already sort of see these stones working, because without this, maybe this wouldn't have been such a problem that black chose a different move. Well, black comes here, big extension, actually the only big move left on the board, so to speak, the most obvious one. And now it's white's turn. So does anyone have any ideas for white, what he should do? It's we played 2 Josekis. It's probably the game is still pretty much even. Any ideas? You still want to make a fight somewhere, so you have to play a difficult move. You're still, well, maybe not 3 stones behind, but you are 1 stone behind. What black would like is, of course, white to play some quiet move there, and then maybe we attack this one and use this attack to make this territory. At least as long as this is, white is busy here, he cannot come in. So this would be a very easy game for black. So this is maybe not that interesting. We can also maybe vision the move on this side. And something like this. Again, very easy. And black can maybe consider this one, either come in, make it hard for white to do anything here. Maybe even defend. It's quite big. There's some big follow-up move here. Again, it feels like white is not really in control of the game. He's very slow. So it may surprise you when you first see this move, but this is quite a challenge. It's a bit strange because black already defended in a special way just to deal with this invasion, and now white comes in anyway. So it's quite aggressive actually. But also it's sort of validating these white stones here. White has quite a lot of, there's 5 stones here that if he doesn't use them in some way, then they're lost. So he needs to use those stones, and actually this is probably the last time in the game he can use it. If he plays any other move, black can reinforce. Okay, so white came in now. Black doesn't really have much choice. He doesn't want to just sacrifice these stones, so he has to come out. And also you already have quite a lot of stones there, so you want to attack this white stone that came into your territory. For white, you want to make shape somehow, and attaching is the obvious thing to do when you want to make some shape in an enemy situation. And you will see for maybe a couple of other moves that when you think about them, there is not really much that black and white could have done differently. This may not be obvious from the first time, but if you study this game a little bit, from now on, every move is sort of like, but this is the only move. Up to move 100, I don't know what. That's a little strange in a way, but it's also very helpful, because if that is indeed the case, then the game is, from a certain perspective, very simple. Even though some of the moves you may see, you may never find yourself. Now, what should black do? Black should not play this one, because then he induces white to play there, which is a move he would very much like to have, because immediately you have to defend against this connection. So black is quietly, okay, I'm making myself strong here. Do what you want. Well, white comes here. He's still eyeing both of these groups. Neither has 2 eyes at the moment. Also, it's destroying a lot of points, and furthermore, it's again aiming at this connection on the top. So black prevents the connection and aims at connecting himself. White prevents the connection, and black has to defend. And it looks a bit slow, but if you don't play here, then white will. And it turns out that there's quite a lot of action, because you're already cut here. Suppose you play something like this. And the first remark is, you're helping white to escape. You're pushing him out, which is illogical. You want to attack this thing. And then later, if you do something white cuts, then you still have to come back, and there's this extension down there is sent this, so there's some eye shape here, otherwise there's a connection. It's not very, very nice. So black has to connect here, just make a strong shape. Okay, then it's white's turn again. White would like to be a little bit active here, not give black eye space. If black captures this stone now, then he's completely alive. And white doesn't really gain anything, so white makes sure black is not alive either. It's always nice if you're invading someone's territory that you can also drive one of your opponent's groups out. Again, white is aiming at a connection here, but before black prevents that, he plays a forcing move from the outside. And yeah, if black cuts here, then everything is safe, and white didn't really achieve that much, so white has to defend. And black prevents the connection on this side. Yeah, well, okay. So far so good. This white group is starting to look a little bit unhealthy, maybe. This is, yeah, it's a little bit painful. But right now, black doesn't have time to continue there because, yeah, the fight is going on here. White to play. Well, white to come out at some point. You cannot make ice locally, so you have to run away. Black also runs out because he has to, otherwise you can close him. And now what? Does anyone have a good idea for white, what to do? Actually, the move, once you understand it, is very logical, but...
F16.
What? Which one?
F16.
F16. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or something like that.
Or something like that, but it's completely... something like this one. No, this one doesn't exist, obviously. This is very bad. So, what is the purpose of this move? You say you want to play there, okay?
I'm trying to attack the black group.
You're trying to attack the black group, but you have your own weak group there. So actually what you're doing is you're making black stronger here. And you're building something up here, but at the cost of making black stronger here, so you're making actually this weaker. Unless you have read very deeply and have found some variation that Go Seigen and Takegawa didn't see. Could be the case, huh? You never know. But even from just one move, you can understand the principle. What is the aim of this move? This aim is, well, you can say I'm attacking this, but there's this weak group here. And you're also strengthening it. Actually, this move is just building up this side. It's not an attacking move. Any other ideas? What to play?
G12.
G12.
Slowly move out. Like this. Too slow, but...
Is a good shape move. Yeah, black will now have to come out himself somehow. Let me come back to the game. This move is actually played later. Because the problem with this move a little bit is that it doesn't do much. It's moving out. It's very negative, passive move. Doesn't make points, doesn't really attack anything. Black can choose several options on this side. He can think of this one, or push, or anything that he likes. And this is still not alive. In the game, white played this one. Very quiet, actually very nice, because this black group is not yet alive. But now if black tries to attack it somehow, then yeah, you're just forcing white against your black group. It's a bit the same what white did with this move just now. It doesn't really make sense, because white is already strong here. You've lost all your forcing moves. So actually this is a good attacking move. And there's almost no difference on the board between these two styles, but a totally different idea. Because now black can put pressure on these styles, and you have to do something at some point. Because if you don't do anything, then black will, even if black comes here, then why did you play this exchange? That's a bad exchange. So you have to continue. If you want to say, okay, I would like to validate this stone, you have to play another one. But yeah, you're making this weaker and weaker, and now still, there's a cut. Yeah, but I cannot really do much here because of this cut, so I have to defend somehow, and then black comes out. And why did I play these moves if I cannot continue? Maybe you have some idea about this, that this move somehow helps there, possible. But in this case, it's open. There's no special stuff going on. This move, on the other hand, sort of takes away all black's forcing moves here. So in a way, this is, well, it's making 2 points, which is always nice, but that's not really the point. The point is that it's helping this thing. By making this strong, so this is weaker, so this is stronger. Just high level, it's once you know it, once you say it, it's very easy. Everyone will say yes, obviously. But now just find this move in your own games. It's suddenly a lot less obvious. Well, black plays a forcing move on the top. He tries to easy life. White has to answer. Not much choice there. And the timing here is nice. White is sort of trying to attack this a little bit, helping this, and black puts in this little forcing move just to kill some of the ice space white has. It's a detail, but if this is even half an eye, if you forget about this move, that helps tremendously for this white group at some point. Half an eye is really, really big. So this is nothing to be sneezed at, and actually the timing is also very critical. You have to play it now, or as soon as this is alive, this is not sent anymore. Maybe if this is one eye, this is not sent anymore. But the timing is very important. And it looks small, first line move, Atari, not important. No, it is important.
That is the move before the lunch break, you mean? Forcing move just before the lunch break.
It could be. But it makes sense, this forcing move, from a whole game perspective. Sometimes you see this time cashier move that you think there's no reason for this to play this, except maybe when you know that you might have no more time. But they have 10 plus hours, so if they were out of time now already, then something would have been a little bit strange. Okay, well, black has to reinforce. He chooses again a very nice quiet move. Just one solid eye, you can move out. Position is very nice. And now white plays there. That was a good move. It's the correct move in this situation, but the timing was not optimal. Because now black is a little stronger here, you defend it here, so black it's more hard for him to do something here, and now you move out because there's nothing else you can do. If you don't do anything else, then maybe you will die. So you wait for the utter last moment to defend. If your opponent cannot kill you, why should you defend? If your opponent cannot, like when you play a Moyo game, you do not invade the Moyo until the last move that is possible. Because he has to spend a lot of moves trying to close the Moyo, or you just play big moves elsewhere on the board, and then the last move before he closes it, you invade. It's a very easy concept again, just to put it in practice is really tricky because you're constantly walking this tightrope. And one move too late, or maybe he can get something in center, you're too late and the Moyo is closed, or your group is dead, and it's all over. But if you defend too early, maybe you play the move that has less value. If you're ahead by a lot, of course, feel free, but if you're behind, you cannot afford this kind of lax play. Black to play. Any ideas? Black in this position.
Walk out.
Go out?
Yeah.
Where?
Age 15.
Age 15. There. Any other ideas?
F13.
F13, this one. Yeah, again you have a very nice move, but again the timing is... someone else will ask. You can force here, obviously. White has to answer. Question is if this is the most useful timing to use this forcing move, because you also have other moves. You could, I don't know if you would ever want to, but you could play like this, and white has to play there, and then cut for whatever reason. Of course, this looks very bad because you immediately are cut yourself, but you don't know. Maybe some big fight develops and you would like to have this opportunity. But yes, you can force there. but again you want to wait until the utter last moment in time that you choose. I said something here before that white plays this one, so black cannot really play on that side. Black plays here, and actually this looks strange because white is reinforced in your attention against a strong stone. But just look at what happens if you don't. Say you play something easy here, or this is much similar. Yeah, white comes out, black comes out, white comes out. Yeah. What are you doing? You're filling. Yeah. You're not doing anything with these. These moves are absolutely zero value. Well, white's group is getting stronger and stronger all the time. You're losing a lot just by playing some moves that look very natural, but they're not. And yeah, how can you see this? These moves, they don't make territory. You're not even alive yet. They do not put pressure on these stones. It's very easy to see. You don't need to be pro to understand this. But you have to really look at what the move is doing. So this is no good. So why is this better? Well, if now white comes out, black also comes out, and if white now comes here, then okay, hey, that's nice. Then we can start expecting some territory on the lower side, and maybe we have some maybe there's some stuff here, maybe some center, I don't know, later some endgame. This is way better than this when, where's the next move? There is no next move. All strange. Now white would, maybe the first idea is Hane. I haven't seen this move before, first idea is Hane. Black will probably also Hane, and you will get some fight. This is what black wants. Maybe not these exact moves. Maybe you have to push again or whatever. But this is black's idea. Actually, to say why this is not good for white is very difficult. So I would like to skip it. In the game, white plays something slightly similar, but again a little different. He plays this one. Ideally, of course, you would see something like this, where white sort of got nicely around the edge, and he didn't quite connect his stones, but it looks at least pretty nice for white. Actually, this simplifying things maybe a little bit too much here, because there is still a couple of very difficult variations that you need to check to actually see why this is bad, because in the game black actually plays something quite similar. He now plays this exchange first, and then he connects. And again, when you first see this game, you do not have to read 50 moves deep, 20 variations to understand everything. Just, okay, something is happening here, I'll maybe look at it later if I'm interested, or I just, whatever. If some things are too difficult, I will not study. Okay, black plays this forcing move. Actually, and we can still learn something from what's going on even if we haven't read everything. And just the fact that black doesn't play there probably means that this move is not good right now. There's still some high-level ideas you can get out of just the flow of the game. Okay, black plays this Kikashi. How should white answer?
F12.
F12. No. No.
18.
Sorry?
18.
H. What? H.
A.
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 E. E.
No, sorry. 10.
No, it's also not correct. Of course, there are a couple of things that you want to take into account when answering. There are several moves available, and you could make this nice anti-triangle. Well, why not? If anyone wants to explain why not, then please come up with board.
Just an ugly shape.
Yeah, but
So what?
if this is an efficient ugly shape, what do I care? No, this is only ugly. We call it ugly shape because it has less liberties than any other shape. But if we don't need the liberties for whatever reason, there's no reason not to play the shape. Maybe this is the most points, or maybe this is the fastest way to go out. If liberties are not an issue, then sure, feel free to play empty triangles all the time. Of course, if you like your groups to be alive because they may end up in some semi-I and you want your liberties, then maybe it's not such a good move. But but this is not the move white played. Actually, sort of what you want with white is to go out. You don't have eyes, so you want to move. So from a certain perspective, the move that connects, while it is the most out anyway, is either this one or this one. And then you can think, okay, if I have to choose between them, well, this is a little strange shape. True. Maybe you do some reading here. But, well, how about this move? There is some wedge here, there's some cut. So even when you don't really read at all, the move that is going out most, and is attacking black actually, is this one. And this is the move he played. And actually, there you have to say a little bit more, because maybe you have to sort of understand now that if black plays here, you still get it. So why is this trade-off not there? Or if black doesn't play, then you have an eye here, which is also nice. But it gives a starting point. And white would like to put pressure on black. Well, black has to reinforce effectively immediately, otherwise things go bad. So he has to play with this. And white comes here. Now you still have the empty triangle, but you also have some nice agi on that side. Never know what it's good for, but it's there. It's for free. If you pay attention how you connect. Even a very simple move like connecting can have quite a lot of impact. And you see that white is threading on very thin ice, but as long as the ice doesn't break, he's faster than the guy that is going very slowly, which is exactly what he wants to catch up. Okay, black's turn. Now black connects. That's there. Cuts, white just plays easily, and black comes out. Okay, very quiet. We ended up at a sort of quiet area in the game. There's no immediate fights going on, so maybe this is a good time to just look a little bit at what's going on here. So, white invaded, okay, we know that. Black is totally alive now. He captured 2 white stones, made a couple of points. This black group is still a little bit, there's some cutting here. But it's a little bit tricky to use because there is also a lot of stuff still going on there. And actually, you see that white's next move is also to defend there, because this is really too dangerous. If every move black gets here also sort of attacks this group. And furthermore, this move does something for the group in the middle, but we'll look at that later. What else happened? Well, white got a couple of stones on lower side. He made a few points, but he got his head out, which is very nice, because that makes it difficult for black to make territory here. If black sort of got around this, and white would still be weak, then this is already sort of territory for black. Because if white evades here, then black can make a splitting attack on both groups. Again, once you say it, it's obvious.
Finding it on the board.
Finding it on the board, it's a sort of high-level strategic concept. And yeah, often in our amateur games, there's such a lot of stuff going around that we lose sight of this because either your group dies or something happens that you didn't foresee or whatever. What's nice in these programs is that those things don't happen. Your group doesn't just die. Then either he just really fucked up or he sacrificed it. It was his plan to die. Eh? That happens. So you can look at certain strategical ideas in the position that you maybe will not find in your own games or in maybe modern day professional games because there's a lot more fighting going on. Yeah, okay. White has to come back, which is a little bit unfortunate, of course, because he has this group in the middle yet that still has 0 eyes. But actually, after this move, it already has half an eye because there's this move. And if black plays there, then you have this one, and you can make an eye. If black doesn't like white to make an eye, he has to play there, but then it's a call for connection. So even though this move looks a bit like taking time off from everything else, it's still connected. It's helping it a little bit. Half an eye or a call, well, let's see what happens. So okay, black to play. Black doesn't really like this weakness here. Now white has defended. Black should also do something here. White plays. There. So black reinforces his weakness here. There was some cut in center because white still wants to attack this group, and if he allows black to cut there, then there's nothing left. So he's keeping the pressure on black as well. And you might expect actually now that black is trying to attack this thing in some way. So you may be a little bit surprised that black just played this move, which looks a bit standoffish. It's not really attacking, it's moving out. Doesn't look so interesting. So, in a way, this is a strange move. So, if you want to understand what's going there, maybe the first thing that comes up is something like this. They're trying to attack this. This is maybe the move you think of first. But if you read a little bit, then you find out that it's very, very easy for white to come out. There's this wedge here, and there's nothing black can do. And then even if you just push or play here or whatever, everything works. So the question is, okay, I'm attacking white, but am I gaining anything through the attack? And actually the answer is I'm helping white to escape. And this idea is very powerful. If you can attack, it feels very good to just do it. A powerful feeling. Attack your opponent, but you should always make sure to gain something. Doesn't matter what, maybe some territory on one side, maybe some pressure on another group, or you build your moyo, or you make your dead group alive, whatever. If you attack just for the fun of attacking, and you're not gaining anything, you're helping your opponent, settling his group. But he's adding moves that will make him stronger. He doesn't want to die. That's a bit like Martin and me have a fight, and I knock him down somehow, I don't know. The next time he may bring a knife or something. And you should look at it the long term. I don't want him to bring a knife long term. So you make your opponents stronger with an attack that is badly timed. So, black couldn't find a valuable move here. Actually, there is no valuable move. So then, this group is also not alive, so it's sort of obvious that you help it escape. Of course, you still put pressure on white by escaping. Well, white also has to do something with this group, and if there's nothing else, then you just play the 1 point jump. You cannot make ice yet. 1 point jump because there's nothing else. Now black to play. Does anyone wants to propose a black move? And we already talked about some of the ideas that have been possible in this area. So taking all that into account, what would be a good black move? This one. Okay, you just you don't want to attack this group anymore. There's nothing to gain. Is there anyone else who wants to suggest?
J14.
J14. Here.
Get out.
Yeah, you're getting out, but you're already alive.
Preventing a connection. Huh?
You do prevent the connection, but would White mind playing an extra move in the center? What does this move do for you? Is there a next move? Does it make points? You prevent the connection, yes, but this is an attacking move. That doesn't gain anything else. Actually, the move that Black plays is very, very similar, but there's a very small difference. It's here. And now, if White plays here, of course, there is a next move. Very small difference, but very, very important. And after this move, this side is closed. So Black suddenly has a lot of perspective territory there. Also, there's some cut here that White may not feel very happy with. And you can read it. There's some squeeze, or doesn't really matter. Just the flow is important here. Almost the same move, totally different idea. So what should White do then? If he plays there, then there's no connection, and maybe then you can attack something like this and start to build something on the side, because it's a bit slow. So White, we cannot do really anything else here, so why not at least exchange this? Can't be bad. And you already see White is making some eye shape as well here. It's not yet one eye, but it starts to look like eye shape. There's half an eye there, sort of. So White is already, he doesn't really look alive or very strong, but it's beginning to get there. Of course, White still needs to do something here, but just playing a defensive move is sort of the last thing you want to do. So actually, what he does is, this Black group is also not completely alive. Just how do you answer this? Just let me see. And what White would like is if Black plays here, then he got maximum profit from this exchange. White got a stone outside, Black got a stone inside, he defended. This is White's dream. Of course, the question is, maybe Black should play like this. You have to do a lot of reading, actually, if this is possible or not. What else can you do? You can play this one, but then later maybe there is still a cut here. Or, there's some center here. It doesn't really look nice. And White will probably come out now, so there's some stuff there still. So, again, very important strategic point. You have to do something with your regroup, but before you do anything, you decide your strategy. And do you maybe play this move and try to live, or do you go out? These are very different choices. You ask your opponent, what is it that you want? And do you want to give me something to play with on the outside? Then I don't have to play this stupid move on the top side that doesn't make any points. Do you, want me to have some agi later? Then I can live very, very slowly because I have something extra. You're asking your opponent what it is that he wants, and then you decide yourself. Well, Black didn't want to play too softly, so he played this move. Okay, well, if white doesn't do anything, it's a lost move, so white has to come out here, and now black connects. Still keep this all separated. And again, as white plays a forcing move here, this one looks a bit vague, but it's still not so easy to attack this actually, and this is really, really big. And actually white did some deep reading here, and actually he needs this move in a later variation. So we do not really spend too much time on it right now. Just believe me, go with the flow. Black defense, okay, it's obviously very big. And again, yeah, well, white still needs to do something here, but meanwhile he has some strange stones around him. What he does is push. Well, black obviously doesn't want white to connect. White also cuts. It feels a bit very dangerous because these stones have very little liberties, but there's no that. Well, black just connects. White comes out. Black actually also needs to be a little bit careful because he's not totally connected yet on this side. So white is again, okay, you cannot really kill this, it's hard to attack, and I'm doing something on your side as well. So black has to also walk on eggs here. Black chose to play this move. And if you've ever seen a famous Tsuchi dictionary, maybe you have seen this position, because white's next move is rather famous. And it has everything to do with the aji here. Black is not totally connected yet, but yeah, this is also doesn't have so many liberties, and yeah, this is also still not out of danger. So white wants to play a move that sort of ideally doesn't choose yet what to play here because there are different moves. And he first asks black again, what is it that you want? So anyone want to hazard a guess? It's if you haven't seen this move, you will not guess it. Takagawa was really surprised when white played here, so I'm not really expecting you to guess Go Seigen's move.
M9?
M9.
No.
There. Close, but no cigar.
Then it must be L10.
L10. Yeah. Yeah, this is correct. Well done. Maybe I did give a little hint there.
Maar deze heb ik niet zelf gevonden.
Ah, you knew it already. Ah.
No, but it just had to be that one.
If you look at this, it looks totally crazy.
Yeah.
So if you see a move like this and you don't want to read everything, just see what comes next. Because just tactically speaking, this is total nonsense. Because black plays there, and then you play the stone against you made black connect, which he would like, and this stone is useless. Except that this move turns out to be absolute center on this black move. Yeah, that's a little bit annoying because then we have to come back. And hey, we have Hane here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then suddenly, yeah, these black stones are a bit unhappy because they have only 3 liberties, and yeah, white somehow got around black here. So you may wonder, okay, if this is the only thing black can do, maybe we can look at some other variation, why not play something like this? But yeah, the problem is that white can now sort of use other forcing moves here, like something like this, black can still connect, and then you cut, and it falls apart. And there are a lot of variations again that you have to read, and they're very difficult, so feel free to study them in your own time. But there's nothing black can do actually. Black just has to accept this loss. So in retrospect, you can say maybe this forceful answer to white's peep here was, maybe too much. You already get some ideas because this doesn't really look so enticing for black. To play Kazumi here, come out, defend. Yeah, black needs another move here to connect these things. And okay, what happened? Black connected on dame. White got some stones here that may have some use still. Of course, black also surrounded white. There's exactly one eye there, but there's not more than that. And there's no, nothing else. There's no chink in black's armor here that you can exploit. So is it again decision time? So what do we do?